Yeah, welcome back. We have Oluwadamiloju Saliu. He's right here in the studio from City FM. Good morning. It's good to have you.
Good morning, Cecilia. It's good to be back.
How are you doing?
It's great to have you.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Okay, you're excited.
You're excited about what exactly?
About what?
What is exciting you at this point?
It's a Champions League night.
Oh, okay. I know that.
It's always exciting. Every time you wake up and you know, okay, so the UEFA Champions League, I've listened to the tune about 2-3 times today.
Already? Wow.
Gives me goosebumps every single time.
I get that. I know that feeling. Especially, I have a friend who actually uses it as a,
Tone.
not really tone. On our wedding day, that was what I was in church.
Okay.
Yes,
I saw that
in
one
church.
as well too.
Wow. Yeah. You know her very well, so I wouldn't want to let it in church, yes. I mean, you have to plead with the pastor and all that to use that Champions League tune.
That's the walking with the Father, right?
Walking with the Father.
I think that's a nice idea. I think that's something I can consider.
Okay, that's what you think, right? I get that. Everyone get that feeling. It's like, once he hooks you, you're just there.
Yeah.
Okay, now.
Let's talk about something not so exciting.
Yeah, not really so exciting. I mean, something that's going to dampen your, right now. I mean, it's the fallout of what happened on Sunday. Nassau United player, Chineme Mountains, that, slumped, and of course they tried to revive him, the medics and all that. That was according to the club. Medics, yeah. But then the pictures we saw, the videos we saw that went viral online is not something that is really good. And of course, the car that was supposed to be the ambulance and all that came on, that didn't start and everything. No, so the ministers, the NFF, they all been reacting to this. And so the news is that if you're going to start a league game starting from this very Sunday, henceforth, they're not looking at maybe a later date. They're looking at on Saturday, March 14th, the very next game. So no league match will take place without paramedics, personnel, and necessary equipment as provided for in the NFF club licensing regulations. So this decision was reached to ensure prompt response in the event of any incident during matches. I believe everyone's actually embarrassed by that. So we don't want any avoidable death in our match venues or any other sport for that matter. This is coming from the Minister's Youth and Sports Sunday Diary. So he didn't really like the situation. And people have been saying, yes, things like this have happened. I mean, Nondi had to reel out incidents that have happened previously. And we keep saying this, but, there is no follow-up on it. The compliance and all that, we're not even looking at the clubs that have actually complied with this. We just go ahead and keep on as if nothing happened.
I think this is where my issue is. I mean, it's okay to have a feedback and it's okay to do something after, but we could have avoided this in the first place. I was saying this earlier today, that why did we have to wait for a situation where someone had to pay with their lives before insisting? I mean, it's a league. It's a professional league being run. It's the highest league in the whole of Nigeria, and you're just talking about it on the second week in March, talking about how you must have medical personnel before you play a game. I think if you're having a match, it should already have been in the statutes that there is no way.
Is there already? Is there? Is in the statute?
Then who
is the compliance we're talking about?
Exactly. Yes. Who is making sure that these clubs are held accountable? Who is making sure that these clubs have all the equipment and all the personnel? That is where the major issue is with the Nigerian Professional Football League.
And more reactions. I see what you're saying. This is all so reactive when they should have been proactive.
Exactly.
So more reactions from the authorities, and this time coming from the NFF, of course. They are the #1 body for football in the country. It says the NFF regrets the incidents in Lafayette involving a player of Nassau United and further condole the immediate family of the late player and the football stakeholders at large. And it goes on to say that the NFF, in conjunction with the Ministry of Sports, engaged the LMC and reviewed the situation. And as an immediate first step, the NFF has directed that no further match be played except there's a full complement of the medical equipment and personnel as provided in NFF club licensing regulations. All match commissioners and the host FAs are to ensure they inspect all facilities, including carrying out test runs before going ahead, giving the go-ahead for any match to be played. So they're all saying the same thing now, and it sounds all like medicine after death, and this could have been avoided.
It literally is medicine after death.
Okay.
It is. We've done over half of the MPFL already. We're entering, I think, the final 40% of the season, and we've already lost a life. We know in Nigerian football, we also suffered another casualty a few weeks ago. It's just a very grey cloud around Nigerian football right now. I can see the demeanor has already changed. A lot of people are not happy. And I just feel going forward, it's not about just saying these things. It's also making sure that every game that you see, it's very much announced that, okay, if you don't have the medical personnel and it is followed up, it's very easy for you to make new rules. It's very easy for us to go back to the rule book and say, yes, medical personnel must be at games, but you must enforce the law if things like this are supposed to stop.
Damiloju, I was listening to a coach, MPFL coach, yesterday, pretty much confirmed what a lot of people know. That is, a lot of these clubs do not provide the minimum medical requirements on match days. And I mean, that says it all.
And no one is even checking.
So we were having a discussion today, I and a few colleagues, and two sides should be blamed. The league management company, the LMC, who was supposed to enforce these rules, and the clubs themselves. I will go on to blame the clubs a little more because it is their players, it is their own players who have they should take care of the welfare of their players. But I also believe that if you notice that a club does not have adequate means to provide the right medical personnel for their players and for life, they shouldn't be in the Nigerian Professional Football League at all.
Spot on.
In England, we saw where Fabrice Muamba a few years ago had a major incident on the field of play. I'm so sad to say, I'm sure if that was in Nigeria, that's probably the end of his life. They were able to manage that properly, even though he couldn't continue with his career, but his life was saved. That's what happens when you have the right structure and the right personnel in place.
Absolutely. I mean, you're spot on there. There's nothing much to add to that. Just knowing that some clubs take it for granted. I mean, I've watched league games. We've seen it. I mean, it's very funny. You want to hear it. It's very funny that you see, I mean, Sachet Watson. Sachet Watson, well, blocked. That's what they run onto the pitch and put on the leg of players that are injured. I mean, they put it there. I mean, they use their towel to tie.
Someone has a concussion, you bring
I mean,
ice.
we keep saying it over and over again. No, maybe injury, maybe players falling down, maybe holding the knee and all that. So they bring that up just to check it. So I ask myself, like, okay, is this all what it's about? Then there's this small white box that they carry along. Yeah. That's what you see. So I can remember last time I went to a stadium, I saw an ambulance actually, parked behind. It's difficult to really see that. And it happens regularly. And that's why people are actually saying that, look, before a club can register for the league, these are the things you even need to check. If you don't have it, we don't need to have 20 clubs. We don't need. So if you can't actually provide the basic, I mean, these are basic because we're talking about human lives right here. Because as if you're not even taking the lives of the players seriously. That's what it means. Anything could happen. I mean, everyone is working. There's anything. You really can't project what will happen. So at the end of the day, so why not have these things on ground? In case anything happened. Fine, we've not had incidents like this in a very long time. And we say, oh, God forbid. Fine, we know God forbid. But then why not be proactive instead of, reactive and all that when things have happened? Then we start thinking of from this. We just hope and pray that from this Saturday, most of the clubs, I mean, if you don't have the equipment right now, I mean, most of the clubs are owned by government. So they can start buying right now. I mean, they can afford it. We've seen it. It's everywhere. I mean, if you open social media, what's trending in Nigeria? What's the situation? The trend is not looking good. It's not something positive. I mean, Israel, this time I was trending. We're happy. And then that same, that same day, that Sunday, then something really, happened, and then the trend changed. It became something really, really sad. And you see the videos and the pictures, and you ask yourself, is this a top flight or maybe a street football? It looks as if it was, that's what it looks like. Like a street football, so not a top flight game.
It's so sad and embarrassing that you watch some of the lower levels of English football, French football. You will not see this happening in League 2 of England. You won't even see this probably happening in the conference in England, and that is the 5th tier of English football, and then we're still seeing this raise ugly head in Nigerian Professional Football League. Let's just hope that this is the beginning of the end of things like this.
Yeah, I just hope that video hasn't come out because it's still really, really sad.
Yeah, it's such a shame, really. Hopefully, like I said, all these things are put in place. It's the minimum medical requirements. Minimum.
They're not asking for too much.
Exactly. Exactly.
Basic.
Yeah, just the basics in place, just in case any incident like this ever happens again. So you can at least give the player a fighting chance of survival. That's what we're asking of. Anyways, let's move on now and let's continue our countdown to the Olympics despite the threat of the COVID-19. welcome back. It's 135 days to go to the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, and despite coronavirus and COVID-19, the organizers and everyone involved, IOC, they insist this event will go on as planned. And Damiloju, as a fan and as a big fan of sports and as a media guy as well too, would you have any problem going to Tokyo in 135 days, even if with all this talks about corona? Would you really go?
I think it depends on the severity of COVID-19 by then.
Yeah.
If you're asking me now, I think there's a lot of cracking down going on as regards traveling and moving across countries. I think if that is the situation right now, I probably will be a little skeptical. I'm very excited by what the Olympics has to offer this 2020. We know that the Olympic comes only once every 4 years, but we also have to understand that the life of people really matters. I don't want Olympics to be cancelled. I'm really looking forward to it. You already mentioned 135 days. But if the severity of the coronavirus becomes more than it is right now, then I think you're going to have some restrictions on travel, and that might affect the number of fans that we get to see at the Olympic Games.
So you personally, you wouldn't, you're worried. You're that worried not to go? I'll go.
You will go.
Yeah.
I am worried. I mean, I am worried.
Don't ask me because I won't ask you. If it's still like this, if it's like this, I mean, the way it is I'm sure before then, if it's like this before July, I'm sure it's going to be postponed, not cancelled. That's what I think is going to happen, because most countries wouldn't travel.
Yeah.
Most countries, they won't allow their athletes to travel, because coming back into the country, that's where the problem is. The spread. I mean, if Italy is locked down, Italy is locked down right now, no activities. And even in Kenya, that they don't even have any cases here, they're saying that they're avoiding gathering of more than 15 people. True. International events that they're hosting, all of them, they've been postponed. So if everyone is taking that precautionary measure, and if it's still as bad as it is, and Olympics is like, I mean, and IOC is insisting, I'm not sure they will do that.
There is, I mean, before you get to postponing, cancellation, it's obviously the worst case scenario. I think the games could actually go ahead without fans as well. That's another option. Of course, that's going to take a lot out of it. But that's another option.
So it's an option that a lot of people have not accepted fully.
Thank you.
We've seen sportmen, LeBron James mentioned it, that if there are no fans, then what's the point? That it's the fans he plays for. You know, even when you go to games, even when you watch games on TV, you know how the atmosphere changes. We're going to come to Champions League in a bit. Stadiums like Anfield, Signal Iduna Park, you know how the atmosphere is different when the fans are there. This is a tournament that we've waited for 4 years. Imagine if we had the 2018 World Cup and there were no fans. It changes the whole dynamics. So if there are no fans, the Olympic Games will not be Olympics.
No fans, no games. All right. Okay, let's listen to Falila Togunkoya. She's got some advice for athletes, preparing to go to the Olympics. What they need to do to ensure that they come back with some medals.
All the athletes, good luck first, but they need to work very, very hard. Sometimes the country might not want to give you everything you ask for, but it's time, because when you're an athlete, it's a period of time you can compete. Individual, the mother, the company, private sectors, they need to come and support them, because when that time passes you by, it's very, very difficult. So what I'm going to say that, these athletes, good luck to them. They should continue to work hard. Don't worry about too many things that is going on around, because you might say it not happen, it will happen. You might think that you cannot win a medal, and then if you work very hard at it and you set a high goal for yourself, I think that, sky is the limit. And we can see, I'm very happy that a lot of our athletes are doing very well in the U.S. I think we are going back to like when we are in U.S., like 1987, 88, that we have so many athletes, more than 30, 40, they will come to Nigeria and compete. And I'm very happy that all of them are doing very well in the U.S. And I hope that the home base, you should be able to, live up to their own level, because that was I did with myself and Tina Ihengwam. We had to beat them for us to take, to take the lead from them. So, and I hope that the one in Nigeria, the one in the U.S., they should work together and make Nigeria and make themselves proud.
That's what it's all about. Just make Nigeria proud and also making themselves proud. We're hoping that the Olympics will go ahead. That's the hope, right? Okay, that's it for the Olympic segment now. After this, time out to go into the UEFA Champions League.
I'm very sure, I'm hopeful this year. I think this year will make a lot of difference. Our performance this year will be a little bit encouraging compared to the past with the results we've been seeing the last year, and I'm very sure it's going to translate to something, something good, something that will put a smile on our face. I'm very, very sure this year will be different from our previous Olympics. So, like, the season is still very young right now, and but I can tell you honestly, we have a lot to celebrate, at the Olympics. With what I've seen so far from the performance of the athletes last year coming into this year. I mean, yeah, quite a lot of athletes. I can't start mentioning names because the truth is more will still spring up before the Olympics proper. So if I start calling them right now, and I will definitely miss out on some big names. So let me just leave it at that. But I know we'll have a lot to celebrate.
That was DJ Aliyu there, former athletes also winning medals for Nigeria, especially at the World Championships. The record holder, I don't know if anyone has broken his record yet, I'm thinking. Okay, all right, let's move over to the papers. I'm starting with Complete Sports this morning. Complete Sports, the big picture you have there is Oduengalo in Nigerian jersey, not Manchester United jersey.
Who's that?
And why is this like this? It's simply because Kanu is urging this guy to come back. Rescind his decision, and that's what Ikbeba is also saying. Ikbeba says, everyone should respect his decision. But then Kanu Wonko says he needs to,
so they're saying two different things.
Kanu wants him back.
Ikbeba not so keen. Let him
decision respected. Yeah. So this is what he wants. He doesn't want to play for the national team anymore. He has retired from international football. He wants to focus on his club career because he's 30 right now. He's playing for the club of his dream. So he wouldn't want a distraction from the national team. I think for me, I'm respecting his decision.
No, I don't.
Okay.
If we have him back, I wouldn't.
Would he want to
go
come
against
back?
it.
Yeah.
But if I were in Gennett Ross' shoes or in the NFF shoes, I actually won't invite him back. We have a budding striker who is doing amazing things in one of Europe's top 5 leagues. Victor Osimhen is doing very well. And like Cecilia said, he's playing for the club of his dream, and he wants to concentrate on Manchester United, probably try to get a permanent move. Except Igalo is the one who is pushing for a move back to the Super Eagles,
I interviewed him in December. He said,
which doesn't seem like the case. I think we should just let it be. He did well, highest goal scorer at the AFCON final tournament for us. It was a sweet retirement, and let's leave it be.
We've got the players right now. I think the coaches shouldn't disturb him. They should focus on the players they have right now and let him. If he wants to come back, fine. If it's his decision, but he shouldn't be pressured into coming back to the national team because he's in very good form right now.
Talking about players, Dessers, one of the players, striker, top scorer in the Eredivisie. 50 goals.
Yeah,
he's talking as well.
An assist and all that. What's he saying? He loves Nigerian jollof rice.
They all love it.
You have to taste it to love it.
In diaspora, love it.
They love it.
They cannot help it.
It's something they don't get all the time. I'd rather play against Martial than Igalo. Okay, who is saying this? Collins, as former United
defender.
Okay, former United Derek of former United player, Brazilian Derek. He says he'd rather play against Messi. I know why he's saying that because Igalo is more like a bulldozer, man. He's a bull. That's what he does.
Okay, moving on to it's Nigerians. Yeah, it's Nigerians who have died on the pitch. It's just a fallout from what happened over the weekend.
Absolutely.
You can see the picture of Samuel
Okwaraji leading the pack right there. But then those were actually different. Why everyone is talking about this one is the picture we saw, the video we saw, people trying to people, not medics. That's where the problem is. That's the difference between that one and this one. Sporting Sun is next. Sime on cloud 9 over Lil Wayne. Yeah, of course, he should be happy in scoring goals. Rednam Hayes Igalo. Who would not? He came from China after 3 years he spent there, came in and blended well into English football. Raw explains Dessers and Hizubui's column. Does it actually need much explanation? But I mean, they deserve to be there. But Hizubui, I'm not too sure. But for Dessers, because of his exploit, like his performance got him into the national team.
Definitely.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to Sports in Life now. That's our last paper for review. Larissa calls on sports to write news story. Interesting. I wonder what that means, really. Liverpool Atletico. Liverpool seeking another special night at Anfield. We'll leave that till the next match day. Foxes destroy Villa after Rangers horror show. Did you see that game?
Yeah, Pepe Reina was prepared to me. He was
4-0 it ended.
I'm just happy to see Leicester back firing all cylinders, especially with Wilfred Ndidi.
Okay, exactly.
I keep saying it.
Wilfred
When he's back, they're winning.
Leicester
When he's not there,
they struggle.
Yeah. This is obvious is that African qualifiers were invited Dessers and Ayuzu Bodas, according to Get Overall Man City, are to offer De Bruyne 350,000 a week deal. I think he's deserving of that.
Arguably the best player in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Arguably the best player
Obviously
in the Premier League.
the best player in the team itself. City.
That's also arguable. There's Aguero, but that's why I said arguably the best player in the Premier League.
Okay. Aubameyang insists he's happy at Arsenal. But he hasn't signed the deal.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, so what's that about?
We'll believe it when he puts pen to paper.
PSG versus Dortmund, Mbappe misses training.
Okay. Yeah. Fitness.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun. All right. Saliu, thank you so much for coming on the program.
So it's a pleasure.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you guys for watching. Do have a fantastic day.
I am Taya Salam. Thanks for watching.